Welcome to Signed, Sealed, Delivered Summer on Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark movie fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
Today, we're discussing Signed, Sealed, Delivered from Paris with Love, which originally aired on the Hallmark Channel on June 6th, 2015. Come hang out with us when the podcast is over on Instagram. We have 2 Instagram accounts. They are Girls Gone Hallmark and Megan and Wendy.
We'd love for you to come join our Girls Gone Hallmark Facebook group. It's just a bunch of great, cool people over there talking about Hallmark stuff. Come be one of them.
Please. Why don't we jump right into a synopsis?
The Postables, Oliver, Shane, Rita, and Norman, if you didn't know who they were, return to explore the mystery of true love as they deliver divorce papers to one couple the same day Oliver's missing wife
This movie was nominated for 2 awards. It was nominated for a Canadian Screen Award for Best Writing in a Dramatic Program or Limited Series for the writers Martha Williamson and Brandy Harkonnen. And it was also nominated in 2016 for a UBCP award for Best Actress for Rita Yankee Crystal Lowe.
This movie was directed by Kevin Fair, who directed the lion's share of the Signed, Sealed, Delivered movies, as well as a couple of the episodes from the TV series.
This movie was written by Dream Team, Martha Williamson, and Brandy Harkonnen.
Kevin McGarry plays Joey Castellucci. This was Kevin's first appearance on the Hallmark Channel. He would go on to star in Heartland and When Calls the Heart, as well as the Wedding Veil series for Hallmark in his 39 total acting credits.
Brooke Nevin plays Caitlin. This was also Brooke's first Hallmark credit. She has 90 total acting credits, including Crashing Through the Snow and Jingle Around the Clock for Hallmark. She also has one upcoming project titled F, Marry, Kill.
There's no relation to Barbara, is there?
You know what's so funny? I don't know. You know what? The only thing I hear is, who is Brooke Nevin related to? Her mother's name is Monique. Okay. So no, I kept hearing, because we're so deep into our watch of The Resident, Nick's last name on that show is Nevin, and they say it all the time, like Nurse Nick Nevin, that it's so in my head that that's what I hear.
Gotcha. Zach Santiago plays Ramon. Zach has 163 acting credits, which include a number of Signed, Sealed, Delivered sightings. For Hallmark, he was most recently in Legend of the Lost Locket as the art restorer.
Poppy Montgomery plays Holly the Heartbreaker. Poppy has 36 acting credits, and this appears to be her only appearance on Hallmark. She had a role in the 1998 Mark Paul Gosselaar college comedy Dead Man on Campus.
You know what is so funny is they were kind of hiding her face a little bit in this movie at first, right? And I was like, who's playing Holly? I was so excited. And then they show who it is, and I was like, that's Poppy Montgomery. Now, I don't know why I know her name, because I did look at her IMDb and there was like nothing that stood out to me as like, oh yes, I watched a ton of her in that. Was she just super popular in like the early 2000s?
Well, her face was familiar to me, but I couldn't have pulled her name out of a hat the way you did.
No. Sometimes I surprise myself. I have such a terrible memory, but then like I can pull these weird names out from the depths. All right, let's talk first impressions.
Well, since we were just talking about Poppy Montgomery, no shade to Poppy herself, but I hate Holly.
Oh, good. We're on the same page. My first impression is not sad to see Holly go.
Bye-bye, Holly. So let's talk what we liked.
Okay. You can start.
Okay. First off, there were so many great lines in this, and I would like to just name a couple.
Sure.
One, Oliver saying, "The day we met, you started leaving me." Oof. And then he says to her, when she's like, "Oh, now I speak 2 languages," and he says, "Can you use one of those 2 languages to tell me why you came back?" Oh, Oliver, bring it. And then Shane saying, "I'm quitting for good." And Norman, sweet Norman, saying, "How could that be good?" This movie hit me in the heart in a different way than the Christmas movie, but in a not less impactful way, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, these people really care for each other, right?
Oh my goodness. Yes.
And I just think we don't see a ton of that like we're so inundated with like reality TV where people are just horrible to each other all the time.
Yeah, it's more interesting if they hate each other.
Of course, like that's what makes people tune in. But like for me, there's something so lovely about watching people who deeply care for each other and not just like on a real surfacey level. Like I'm talking like you would be devastated if somebody left their job. You know, you were their coworker, but so much more. It just is such feel good TV, and we are missing this. I feel like doesn't exist right now. At least the stuff I'm watching.
I agree with you. And wait, I had a thought and it just flew away with the wind. Oh, my thought was this. I feel like I'm developing this weird parasocial relationship with them where because we're like so down the rabbit hole, I'm like, like Eric Mabius is Oliver to me. And it is becoming very hard for me to separate the actors from their characters. And I sent Wendy a message yesterday because as we've mentioned, we are going on the Hallmark Christmas cruise. And the hot conversation, the hot goss in the Facebook groups is all like, who are the actors going to be? And I'm kind of like, it'll be fine. Like whoever it is, it'll be fun. But yesterday I was like, if it's not the Signed, Sealed, Delivered cast, I'm going to riot. And part of me is like, they're the only ones I want to meet. And I don't even know what I would say other than like what a special project this was. I truly, it's almost probably for the best if they don't come.
You're going to fangirl out?
I will make an absolute fool out of myself. And the funny thing is, I don't actually enjoy meeting celebrities.
Well, because I feel like they could easily disappoint you.
That is part of it. Here's the other part of it. It is very one-sided, in my opinion. Like when you're meeting a celebrity, the celebrity does not give two shits about. You know, I'm sure some of them are very lovely and are like, wow, thank you. You are the reason why I'm successful. You're the reason why I'm able to collect a paycheck for coming to take a picture, right? Hopefully they're coming from that. But also I feel like probably a lot of them are just like, I just do this job and like you are nobody and let me take a picture. It comes from a place of, I'm the kind of person who's like, do my friends actually like me? So when these interactions, I'm like, they don't want to be here. They don't want to say hello to me. They're just like grinning and bearing it. So that's the reason I'm not like hyped to meet celebrities, but bring on the postables.
I would be thrilled if they were on our Hallmark cruise. And then I thought, what if we get the next movie? I mean, we might, can you see me and you like standing up in the crowd screaming like, woo, 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 we're just so excited.
Honestly, I would want that more like than Three Wiser Men and a Boy.
Me too.
I would want the cinematic experience. And I could see this being a Christmas movie. They haven't, as far as I know, announced titles or air dates. And we're already in June. If they're putting out 2 movies, we could very easily be getting a Christmas movie.
It would be amazing.
Oh, no. Okay.
It would be amazing. It would be amazing.
It would be.
I mean, I
hadn't even thought about that.
Megan, you just really want Eric Mabius on your cruise, right? Not even him. All of them, right?
I want all of them. Like the idea of Norman Dorman being in front of me, I just would want to like, I just can't. I apologize in advance.
Oh my gosh. Well, I responded back to you. I think we should start an online campaign.
I think so too.
For the postables to be on our cruise. It's going to happen. Okay, where were we at? Had we even started what we talked about, like what we liked about?
Yeah, so I mentioned a couple of lines that I loved.
Yes. Well, okay. I'm glad they didn't string this out too long. This like Holly getting her letter. You know, I was glad that she shows up. Now I got to tell you, I was a little disappointed that Oliver wanted to wait for Holly. Like I was disappointed with what he wrote in the letter because I thought he was all in on Shane.
Me too.
So how absolutely soul crushing that must have been for Shane.
Yeah.
And especially, oh my God, the scene where she's watching them dance through the window and she's like, Don't kiss her.
Don't kiss her.
Oh my God. Heart-wrenching.
When Holly is talking to Oliver about the contents of the letter, and he's like, well, I was trapped in a bank vault thinking that I had hours to live. And I was processing hearing the letter through that lens. Like, Oliver wrote that letter, and I loved that we get the flashbacks of the origins of the letter and the conditions under which the letter were written. Thank you very much for doing that. I'm always like for a previously on. I honestly hadn't even remembered that he had written it in the bank vault for some reason. Anyway, I think that is important, right? Because he was writing it from a place of like, if I'm dying, what do I want my last moments to be? Like, what do I want to say? As opposed to, I don't know, it gave me a little bit of leeway there. And I think he's just such a good guy to his core that he was like, well, we're technically still married. I don't have the information that we're not. So I'm going to do the right thing. But yes, it shattered me too to realize he wasn't just saying goodbye.
Yeah, that broke my heart. What I liked is that I didn't like Holly.
Yes.
And, okay, girlfriend was like flighty and too sort of, what's the word? I don't want to say like, not a free spirit, but like, I was like, this is such a mismatch between these two. Like, what?
Well, even Oliver calls her bohemian, and she comes in, and when she and Shane run into each other and Holly offers her a yoo-hoo, I was like, how dare you? Do not pretend to be so familiar with this office as if you have a place here when you've been gone for 2 years. Oh, do Rita and Norman still work here? If you don't have that information, get out of Oliver's seat. Stop it.
Yes, I mean, obviously, I think since you and I feel the same way, I'm sure that character was meant to be like that. Like,
yes,
Williamson, they had written her like that because they want the fans to root for Shane and Oliver, right? Like, nobody's rooting for Holly and Oliver to get back together. I certainly wasn't.
No, prior to her being on screen, I had no interest in them getting back together, and I'm glad they played it like this because at no point was I torn thinking, oh, she's such a lovely human. Because you think a woman who Oliver marries is going to be more like Shane. Lovely, warm,
right,
and not a little self-centered. And I think it was perfection, making her a little bit unlikable.
I agree. Now, it did make me wonder. I was like, how did Oliver fall in love with Holly? Like, what was it about her? And then I had thought, well, maybe when she left, had he like romanticized her in his mind? Like she was so much greater than she actually was. But he did truly seem to be in love with her. But I was like, what? I don't get it.
Yeah, and she fell for him simply because he was her savior.
Right. Her hero. Yeah. Okay, what else did you like about this movie?
Well, before we talk about Norman and Rita, I want to wrap up some Oliver and Shane thoughts for myself. I like that they kind of both behave badly. Shane opens the letter, which maybe was not the right move, right? She calls Oliver a hypocrite. He shuts her out. I like that we have some antagonism between the two of them because, of course, like Shane's going to be like, I am tired of this. Like, I am frustrated of this back and forth. And Oliver's also in a weird spot, and we see him act a little bit out of character, I think. And I like that. I like that they're both spinning out a little bit.
Yeah. Good.
And then, of course, the final scene where she walks up and he's building her a porch swing.
Oh, my God. Stop it right now. It was so good.
So good. And when she takes his hand and realizes he's taken off his ring, perfection.
Totally.
We got to talk about Norman and Rita. But first, can we talk about how much I love Norman's out loud disdain for Ramon? He hates this man. He's not quiet about it. And I am here for it.
Yeah, I loved it. He's so jealous, you know? But like maybe doesn't even realize, like, I just love Norman. Yes. I was thrilled that they finally kissed at the end, but he does seem like so oblivious, you know? Like both of them do.
So to me, this is maybe the most earned kiss we've ever seen on Hallmark, and the most earned I love you. Like, we have seen their relationship develop. We have seen the way they care for each other. We've watched them slowly fall in love. This was the kiss that made sense. This is a kiss that, we're not like, ugh, they had to do it. Perfection. And it was cinematic the way it was shot, with like the sweeping views circling around them. Loved it.
I agree. I was so happy. Finally, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. I'm like, obviously, I think they get married, but like, how soon does that happen?
Yeah. I mean, I could tell you not very soon.
Okay. Let's talk about their assignment. And they had to deliver the divorce papers, the lost divorce papers to Caitlin. Now, I love seeing Kevin McGarry. And did I hear a slight Boston accent? Like the one that we get in the wedding veil? I kind of, they never said like if he was from Boston, but I was like, what? Is he doing that accent?
It's a little bit, it felt a little bit like Italian light to me.
I see. So leading into the wishes, I thought this was an okay story for the movie. I do think it's something that could have easily been explained. Like, why didn't Joey just ever ask Caitlin who the man was that she was, that he saw her kissing, right?
Instead of jumping to divorce.
Right. Like, I'm like, it didn't make any sense to me. Like, did he just let that all go because she like took care of him after he was hurt? Or
Yeah.
it seemed to be like a very typical Hallmark misunderstanding.
Agree.
And what's funny to think is like they make whole movies out of that. You know what I mean? Like this is like such a side story in this movie. I know it's their like big assignment or whatever, but I didn't love it. I didn't love it. I was like, I wasn't invested. I didn't care about those two getting back together or et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I agree with you. One thing I did like about that storyline is I do think there's a little bit of a parallel between Joey regretting sending the divorce papers and Oliver maybe regretting sending the letter. There's talk about how long it's been since it was sent, the circumstances he was in which it's sent. Once he discovered that Shane found it and sent it, he was very upset, which leads me to believe that maybe he no longer wanted to send that to her. But the Joey and Caitlin storyline, the wrap up is so rapid fire. Like the reveal of her discovering he had sent the divorce papers, her getting so angry that he had never had this conversation, him telling her why he had sent the, I mean, it's like 90 seconds. And then they're like, okay, I love you. And then everything's fine. It's a little bit too much of an afterthought, even though I wasn't that invested in their story. That was okay. It just felt like meh as far as postable stories go.
That's how I felt too. Do you have any other wishes?
Nope.
Okay. I do have a did you see that?
I only have one too. Go ahead.
Okay, so when Shane is reading Oliver's letter that he has written to Holly, like she's trying to read it, and she says, it says, dear someone, and she can't like see who it's written to. And then they show a flashback to Oliver writing the letter while he's in the bank vault. There's no dear. It just says Holly.
Oh, look at you. Eagle eyes.
I can't believe I caught it. Yeah.
My only did you see that is this is the first opening credits where we get the actual Signed, Sealed, Delivered song.
Oh, yeah.
Signed,
Yeah.
Sealed, Delivered, I'm yours.
I was thinking because in the episodes, I did try to look it up. I could not find like a recording of it anywhere. It was like a man's kind of like country song a little bit. Yeah, so I'm guessing going forward they're going to use this Signed, Sealed, Delivered song instead.
That's my assumption. We shall see.
Okay. Okay, what'd you rate this one?
I gave it 4.5 stars.
I gave it 4.25 stars.
Okay. Still
it's
pretty
not that
damn
I
good.
didn't like it. I liked it. I didn't, coming off of Christmas, I didn't love it.
And they did air 6 months apart in real time, but we're hearing them back to back.
Right.
Signed, sealed, delivered summer is well underway here on Girls Gone Hallmark. We are reviewing Signed, sealed, delivered all for this month. July will be Christmas in July, and we'll be back to wrap up Signed, sealed, delivered in August. If you love this podcast, we love your 5-star ratings and reviews. You can leave them in the Apple Podcast app, the Spotify app, any app where you like to listen to podcasts. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.